Hi, today I want to talk to you about selecting and preparing pineapple, fresh pineapple. Most of us are unable to grow this sweet treat, but there are, I imagine, a few of us that are lucky enough to have these available. I think maybe if you're in Florida or Hawaii. But selecting a pineapple is really the first trick to getting a good pineapple. Ideally, the portions of your pineapple should have a golden color to it. This is a little bit greener than I would like, but the best I could find in the store. You want these on top not to be super dried out, and mine are drying out a little bit, primarily because I've had this sitting at home for a few days. But the other two things that you really want to pay attention to, the other three things I should say, is does the pineapple feel heavy for the size? And mine does. Is it fragrant? Does it smell sweet? Does it smell like a pineapple? And this one definitely does, and is part of the reason I chose this pineapple. And lastly, take a good look at the pineapple. Make sure that there are no moldy spots or soft spots, because that's an indication that your pineapple is going bad or damaged. So to prepare your pineapple, there's multiple ways to do it. And I'm going to share with you the way that I choose to do it most of the time. And the first thing anybody's going to do when they prepare a pineapple is they're going to cut off this top part, because that simply is not usable. And you want to go down to probably about a ½ inch below that, and then just cut that off as straight as you can. Now you'll see when I cut this off, even though I didn't have any bruising, I do have some bruising on my pineapple. So I'll probably disregard that portion of it as I get ready to prepare the pineapple. You'll notice also that the pineapple has in the center what's called a core. And that core, typically if you buy canned pineapple, is already removed. It's hard, it's fibrous, it's really not edible. You could cook it down, you could cook it down so soft and mash it and maybe dehydrate it and make some pineapple powder. I've not tried that, but you could do that. The other part of it is you need to cut away all of this hard skin. And typically you can do that by knife, and you can curve that as you go. And sometimes you're still going to have the pits on the inside. You can see how that's a little bit away from the skin. And then of course you have the bottom, which is also not edible. The way that I ultimately like to do my pineapple is to use a pineapple coring tool for a couple of reasons. For me, the best way to do that is also to cut off just the bottom portion so that I have a really flat surface to work with. And sometimes this is a little bit tough, and you can see that, again, I have the core and I have some browning going on in my pineapple. So pineapples, when you buy them, there's a misnomer that if you bring it home, it'll ripen. They won't. Once they're picked from the trees, they're done ripening. So what you buy is what you get. So to use my coring tool, I like this tool because I like to dehydrate my pineapples, and this gives me nice even slices when all is said and done. So this tool has a handle that's removable. It has a serrated edge which cuts into the pineapple, and then the core just goes inside. Now some people will slice their pineapple and they'll use an apple coring tool to remove the inside. The problem I find with this is that sometimes, or oftentimes, the core of the pineapple is larger than this coring tool. I mean, you can see that the apple one fits really inside of this easily. So this is why I like to use this particular tool. It's relatively easy to use. You're just going to put it over the center of the core of the pineapple, and then you're going to turn the pineapple clockwise, and it'll cut right into the pineapple. And because I've already cut out the bottom of the pineapple, I can go all the way down to my cutting board and know that I'm at. And when this is done, this will pull out, and I'll show you how to take it apart. It's relatively easy to use, and by doing it on a cutting board, I'll know when I hit the bottom, which I'm at right now, I think, almost. And I'm just going to pull that the rest of the way out. And then I'm going to put this on the side because it's easiest for me, and I'm going to pull out the core of the pineapple. And you can see what I have on the inside is just what's left. Now, I have quite a bit of browning on this pineapple, which is a disappointment for me, but because I'm going to dehydrate it, I'll be able to use that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the handle. There's a push button. And I'm going to turn this upside down. And you can see that the core is inside the pineapple. And the pineapples are all here. What you have really is a ring, an ongoing ring of pineapple. And the way that you're going to break those apart, kind of think of it like a slinky, is you're just going to take a knife and you're going to cut down the middle of that, and then you have your individual slices, but of course they will have a slice on them. Now, because I have some bad spots on this pineapple, I actually need to go back in and cut those off, but I'm going to dehydrate my pineapple. I think this is quicker. I think it's less wasteful than if you cut the pineapple. If you cut the individual pieces off, I didn't get it straight here. There is some thin side, there is some thick side, and I can probably trim some of this off a little bit because I didn't get this as even on the bottom as I should have. But mostly you can see that it's pretty thin in terms of what is wasted on the pineapple. So this is a quick, easy way to take care of your pineapple. I'm going to put mine in the dehydrator. It's delicious that way. Amazingly, all these slices are nice and even size for dehydrating, and they will be paper thin almost when they're dehydrated. I put them in the dehydrator at 135 degrees. They'll take anywhere from 8 to 15 hours. On humid days, they're going to take a little bit longer. But if you haven't tried dehydrating pineapple, I suggest that you do that. I also like to use fresh pineapple for my pressure canned pineapple upside down cake recipe. If you haven't seen that yet, be sure to check my videos for it, or go to my website, dryitcanit.com, go to the blog section, and you'll be able to find that recipe. So if you thought this was at all helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Follow follow me on YouTube to subscribe to get recipes that I do and other tips. And I appreciate your watching. Thanks much. All right. Yesterday I put some pineapple in the dehydrator, and I just want to show you what the end result is. I had some fresh pineapple that I prepared and put in the dehydrator. I also had a little bit of leftover canned pineapple in the refrigerator, and I put those few slices in also. So what I'm doing currently with the pineapple is I'm doing what's called conditioning. You want to do this with any dehydrated food, and it's basically where you're going to put things in a moisture-proof jar for 4 to 7 days. You're going to shake it once a day, and what that does is distribute any moisture that's left among the food so that everything is basically equally dehydrated, and it's the best way to preserve your food. You want to just give it a shake once a day, and make sure that your pieces are loose and not compressed. Now, in the case of pineapple, sometimes, or any fruit, you might get something that sticks to the bottom, and you might wonder if that's a problem. And the answer is no. If I tapped that, it went away. So that's really just compression. I'm not worried about that. But if you do see signs of moisture or your food is sticking together, that's an indication you probably need to put it back in the dehydrator. So I have here my fresh pineapple, and I had three slices of canned pineapple left that was from my experiment with the pressure canned upside down pineapple cake. But anyway, it's interesting looking at the different colors. I had a pineapple canned that was in water, and then this was the fresh one, and it does brown a little bit from the natural sugars, but it doesn't taste burnt at all. This is one of my favorite treats to eat dehydrated. It's so sweet, it's so good. And really, you can use canned pineapple, whether it's in water, whether it's in juice. You can use fresh pineapple, whatever works for you, whatever you have in hand. But it's a healthy snack, high in fiber. Portions, just kind of remember how much you're eating, because it's so good that it's easy to eat a whole pineapple almost. But this is just absolutely delicious. You know it's done when you can squeeze it and you don't really feel any moisture, or you don't see any. It will be a little bit sticky because it's a high sugar fruit, but it will also break. It's pliable, but you can also break it apart. Pineapple is one of those things that's probably not going to stay preserved long term, but you definitely, once it's conditioned, can put it in a Mylar bag or vacuum seal it in a bag. I prefer to put it in jars just to make sure that there's no moisture in it. And I think shelf life is easily 4 to 6 months if it lasts that long in your home. If you leave your dehydrated fruit out, especially on humid days, it's going to start absorbing moisture. So I encourage you to, eat it, but if you're not eating it right away, put it back in the cans. I always think don't put it in the refrigerator. I always feel like if you have food, especially it's sort of room temperature, and then you put it in the cold refrigerator, that it might get some condensation on it. But fresh pineapple, canned pineapple, wonderful dehydrated treat. Certainly you can mix this with, break the pieces up, cut them, put them in yogurt, put them in cereal, eat it as a snack. It's delicious. So I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up, follow me for more information, and thanks for watching.